This is the Always Wired podcast, and we're joined tonight by Adam Lynch.
Good evening.
So, Adam, you're well known about for the videos that you've made. What sparked that? What made you start making the videos?
I don't really know. Like, I kind of always had a bit of an interest in it, and then I said, like, I'll just throw them up on Twitter, see what people think, like, to get like a bit of feedback. And some of them come across really well, and obviously some others people don't enjoy. But I don't know, because I started in about 2018. I think it was the second season on the Rogers, and everything was going well. So I was like, right, I'll make it. I think the first one I made was the Invincible season video, and I stuck that up on YouTube, and I got good feedback. So I was like, right, I'll stick it up on Twitter, and that got good feedback. So then I think I made another one for the double treble season, and then the treble, and I think it was the Decade of Dominance one. I don't know if you've seen that one.
Oh yeah. I used to watch the Decade of Dominance one when I was out on a run, getting in the park.
So that was kind of the first one that like got a big spark. That I think that got over like 100,000 views on YouTube until it got taken down, unfortunately. But yeah, that's kind of where it started. Like,
did they give you any reason why they took that one down?
No, see, I used to have a channel when I was about 17, right? And I put up stuff that, I mean, I didn't know anything about copyright when I was like 17, but Celtic emailed me about it once, and they said, look, take this down. We won't report you, just take it down. So I was like, all right, no problem. So I took it down. There was no drama. Then see, I had a channel and I had up to 9,500 subscribers, right? And then one evening I went on, and it was Rangers' official account, and they had like 30 videos all blocked. And I was like, oh no, there's no way I'm getting out of this one now. So I was just like, okay, like you just have to, it is how it is. Like,
there's you making videos try to spread the word of Celtic, and they fuck you over.
I know. It's horrible, isn't it?
Yeah,
you can't win.
But it was Peter Lawwell.
It probably was, wasn't it?
Aye.
Just didn't want others making money. They just him. Everyone knew him.
I know, he's putting them up on his YouTube channel. He's now raking in the subscribers.
Honestly, man.
So you're well known for being a Celtic fan as well. That's obviously where it stemmed from, making the videos. So what's your thoughts on the current circumstances at Celtic right now?
I don't know. It's not good at the moment, is it? Like, there's no other way to put it. Like, just with everything that's going on, I think it's almost like 80% 20 that want Lennon out, isn't it? Well, that's kind of the way I see it on Twitter. Like, you know, almost like everyone wants him out, no one wants him to stay.
Especially after the games, like, Twitter can get quite poisonous after the game. I think.
Oh yeah, big time.
See, after like, a big defeat, I think a lot of people just tweet kind of knee-jerk stuff, because I know I've been kind of victim of that myself. Like, you write stuff with emotion. Then
yeah, I think everyone has.
And then you read it the next day and you're like, oh, fuck. Shouldn't I have said that?
Heat of the moment type of thing, isn't it?
Aye, but I think it's kind of getting to that stage now where it's going beyond that, because it's every week. Yeah, I don't remember us really having many good performances this season, other than
I can think of one. I think it was the Hibs game at home, and I said that was like last season. We were good. We kept the ball. We scored. We defended well, and like Hibs they are a good team this season, and we dominated them at home. But that's it. Like, I can't think of any other performance this season where I've been like, wow, that was a good performance.
The ones that jumped out at me a wee bit, and that's just because of the scoreline. It was Ross County away. We won 5-0. I'm sure Ayer scored that game. I think Ayer scored and Julian scored a fucking pinger. In the first game of the season as well. I remember that being a decent score. But I'm trying to remember who that was.
Oh, the Hamilton game.
Aye.
It seems to go downhill since that.
Aye.
Whatever happened.
So it was after the Hamilton game. Like, Twitter was buzzing after it, and they're all going, oh, we're going to win the league by a canter. And then now they've just switched.
See, what I'm so, I don't get is this time last year, right, we went to Aberdeen, I think, literally this day last year, I think, and we were 4-0 up at half time, and we played unbelievable. And it was around this time last year as well that we beat Lazio home and away. We were absolutely going through the league, beating everyone. So, like, what has changed in the last 12 months? You could say no fans, Damien Duff's gone, Fraser Foster. I know if it wasn't for him, we probably wouldn't have beat Lazio over them 2 games. But I just can't, like, put my finger on exactly what it's been. Like, I know we can blame Lennon and all, but what's changed in Lennon in the last 12 months? You know what I mean?
It was just, especially if you're watching the game at the weekend, it looked like his oomph is gone. Like, part of Lennon's kind of charm, like his first time around, was he was all blood and thunder. Like, he was up and down in the touchline. He was very passionate. Whereas when you watched him on Sunday, he was flat. Like, someone shared the image.
He doesn't help himself.
No,
just sitting there. He doesn't
does.
help himself.
He doesn't, and then his wee kind of sound bites after the game. Like, a lot of the time, he doesn't take responsibility. He tries to push the blame on someone else, and that's what it was like after we get beat off Ferencvaros. But he was blaming all the players that wanted out, but didn't let any of the players leave, and you were a bit like, what the fuck's going on?
I think he thinks he's bigger than he is at Celtic. It's very easy, I think, for him to lose that dressing room.
Aye.
If it was Martin O'Neill, Rodgers, Jock, I don't remember Jock's team, but, like, you know what I mean? If someone came out with that, you'd expect the players to be gone the next week. All the players he said he blamed, they're still here, like, you know what I mean?
Aye, they're still here and they're still starting. He's still starting the likes of IR, he's still starting in Cham. I think some of the digs was aimed at Christie as well, because it was not long before that his dad was in the media kind of saying about how Christie's ambitious and wants to play in England.
Yeah, you can see that happening as well, Christie. He seems one of them players that, maybe that's just what I think, but he does, like, his head clearly is turned, like,
I think
he wants to go and play in England.
I think he'll be a bit like Stuart Armstrong. I think he does want to play down south and kind of get the glitz and glamour of down south, but I don't see him cracking any of the big teams. I can see him being kind of...
He's a good player.
Yeah, definitely, especially up here. And it's like you look at players like that and you go, why don't you want to spend your best time, like the best years of your life, winning trophies, scoring goals and being adored by the fans?
Yeah. He's been getting a tough time lately as well. You could say him, Barkas, Forrest always gets a tough time, I know, but, like, especially this season, I think the main thing is people are kind of, the season that's in it, it's the biggest probably season Celtic have ever had, and I think people are worrying a lot.
I think you hit the nail on the head there. I think it is the biggest season, like, we've, especially in our lifetime, like, maybe they stop in the 10.
That could be up there. Yeah.
I think us going for the 10 is probably, I'd probably say for us it's bigger, but so you're not really going to get any, you're definitely not going to get any rationale on Twitter, and you seen that because you mentioned about the fans earlier, and I do think they play a part, and it was your mate, it was Paul the Tim, he said at the start of the season, like, with no fans we're really going to struggle, and he get fucking lynched for it, and you're reading it and you're going, it makes sense. Like, we're used to having that 12th man. But do you know what I mean? You see, it does spur us on. Saying everybody was going, oh no, you're full of shite, you're this, you're that, and the next thing. And it's proven that he's right.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's the same for Rangers as well. Like, they don't have any fans either, but they're not. They're kind of feeding off what's going on now at Celtic. All the negativity is playing into them, I think. And
I think it's that way as well. Like, them maybe not having fans might not be terrible for them, because there's times when their games are on and their fans get quite poisonous. Let's see, and no saying that the Celtic fans don't. Like, sometimes, and you know, it was the same at Copenhagen. But when the fans got on the back of the players, it really does affect the performance. But I was noticing it, especially after Christmas last year, where Rangers had a wee bit of bad form, the fans fucking turned. Stuff like that will negatively impact the players.
That's one thing I noticed in Scotland, right? It's always, I think Mark Warburton said this in an interview once, the two teams can never be doing well. Only one of them can be doing well, and the other one is down and battered, if you know what I mean. But the thing about football is, right, it can change so quickly. If Celtic win the next two games, and Rangers, let's say, were to lose the next 2 games, that pendulum starts to swing now in Celtic's favour, and now Rangers are in a place where Celtic were. You know what I mean?
That's pretty spot on. To be fair, that's a great analogy that Mark Roberts used, because you do see that. Like, it does. Like, we can be level on points, and one team's amazing and the other team's shite. And you know, but they're both.
Like, it is win our game in hand, and it's 3 points. I think it is a big drama, but at the same time, I'm not saying like Lennon is the best man for the job, because I don't think he is. But I'm on Saturday night, I was like, tomorrow is huge. I'm not Lennon out or Lennon in, and I'm not really anyone. I'm never to sit on the fence either. But tomorrow is huge, and then after that, I thought, you know, like, if you were to sack him, I know it's not impossible to bring someone else in, but like, you really think Roy Keane and Martin O'Neill coming in is the answer? Like,
but the SOS that we've seen that save our season.
Yeah.
Martin O'Neill he's always one of the candidates I give, because I kind of wanted Lennon out after the Ferencváros game. I don't know, it just seeing us going out of Europe last season off Cluj the way that we did, and then get out this year off Ferencváros the way we did. It's just it's like nothing's changing, and you're noticing, but the performances are regressing, and it's that way. You're not going to get. That was another one. It was quite a knee-jerk opinion, and you're not going to get rationale this season, but it just filled me with the fear, and it's that way as well. That Gerrard's had the better of him with 4 out of 5 of the last Celtic Rangers games. You know, you're starting to think, shit. I know we've won 2 of them, and we won the cup game, but that was.
I don't know how. Fraser Forster won that cup.
Aye, no, absolutely, you're spot on.
You know, like I said, like, I do say a lot of things on Twitter. It's kind of a joke, and like most of the time I am being serious. But one thing I was kind of serious on was like when I said Neil Lennon is nothing without Fraser Forster, because if you looked at them 2 Lazio games, we could have lost them 2 games if it wasn't for Forster. We would have lost the cup final if it wasn't for Forster. I know it's easy to kind of like say, oh, what might have happened or what wouldn't have happened, but without him, like, you know, Lennon last season would have been nothing.
No, I agree. Because if we'd lost the 2 Lazio games and then we lost the cup final to them, which we easily could have, things would have looked a lot worse.
Oh, definitely.
And I think them winning that cup would have gave them that kind of momentum to carry on throughout the season, because that's what they lack in that squad. They lack winners, and it's always when they're starting to get in the lead a wee bit, and they're starting to get a wee bit of momentum, like they did last season when they beat us at Parkhead in December. They were in the driving seat, and it's like as soon as they're in that driving seat proper, and it starts to get a bit pressured, it's like they crack. It's like we can't keep relying on them to shit themselves every season. We need to start being the team in the driving.
We have big games coming up, though. That's the thing. We have huge games coming up.
It's a difficult set of fixtures we've got coming up.
Oh, they're horrible. Especially if we don't win them. If we win them, then it starts to look up. Thursday, like, I know, like, Celtic should always be fighting in Europe, but to be honest, as a Celtic fan, I think this year in Europe, obviously I want us to win on Thursday, but if you said win on Thursday, well, if you said to me last week, would you rather beat Milan or Aberdeen? I'd say Aberdeen. The league's bigger this year. Celtic ain't going to do anything in Europe. So it's almost like putting that to one side and focusing on the league. But I know a lot of Celtic fans don't want to hear, because they want, obviously, Celtic to do well in Europe. But that's just how I see it.
Aye, I get what you mean. It's if you have to sacrifice one for the other, you would sacrifice Europe.
Yeah.
Which I think if you gave that ultimatum to 100% of Celtic fans, they would all go, right, fuck Europe. We'll just win the league.
Definitely.
So what is your predictions for the Lille game then on Thursday?
I don't even want to say. it could be bad. But look, you never know. You never know. They could pull out a performance, an amazing performance. But I can't see it.
It's overdue. An amazing performance.
It is overdue.
It is overdue, because it's been lacking, and I thought Sunday was going to be it. I thought it was going to be the turning point of the season. I was quite optimistic. I was optimistic after the Rangers game, actually. I was like, we'll beat AC Milan. And that didn't happen. Because I was like, it's just typical, we'll lose we'll lose against them, and then we'll come out firing against AC Milan, and we'll put a great performance and win. But then that didn't happen, and it's that way. People were being a bit glorious in defeat and going on about how good that AC Milan team are, and you're like, they're really not. But they've got a few.
Not that great, no.
No, they've got a few top players. Like that boy Hernandez that plays left back, he's really good. Obviously Zlatan.
Yeah.
But when you dissect it, you're like, they're no greater than that Lazio team we beat last season.
No, definitely not.
So it just starts to go, like, why are we losing these games this season and we weren't losing it last season? Is it purely on because of Fraser Foster, or are we regressing?
Damien Duff gone as well. That's another one.
Aye. And people seem to kind of be forgetting about that. Like Damien Duff, he did a great impact in the squad, and we've replaced him with Gavin Strachan, who everyone seems to despise for some reason.
Everyone just hates him because the way he looks, I think.
I know.
Well, who knows what goes on in that training ground? I
know. He might be the greatest coach in the world, but if they just doesn't like his hair and his beard.
I know. But one of my mates, right, he used to play for Shamrock Rovers in Ireland. That's the team, Damien Duff. Like, this is when he was about 15, 16. And he said Damien Duff is one of the top coaches. But he's had managed the best coach that's managed him. But he said he is top quality.
And I can imagine that because he's been around some of the best teams. Like, he was in a really good Chelsea team, and then I think he was in the Blackburn team that won the league, that won the Premier League. I'm sure he was sniffing about them.
I think he was. I think he joined. I think he was at Chelsea. He was at Chelsea with Mourinho, and then I think he might have went to Blackburn. I don't think he won the league with them. I could be wrong, but I think that was before his time. You
might be right, because that might be a bit early for him. That was like early 2000s, I'm sure. I think that was. I'm probably wrong on that one.
I think it was 95. 95, 96, I think.
Something like that. I'm sure it was like Craig Bullitt as the manager.
Dalglish, wasn't it?
Oh, it was. You're right. Aye. I'm sure it was. Oh, for fuck's sake. Aye, because Damien Duffy was actually on Simon Ferry's pod. Let's say that open goal he does, and he was saying that John Kennedy is one of the best coaches he's worked with. He was full of compliments for big John Kennedy.
I wouldn't think it the way people go on. Like,
I know, but everybody's got that idea in their head that he's the defence coach, and he's not. He's the assistant manager.
He's the assistant.
That's what you hear. All you hear is, he's a defence coach. That's his job, is to organise the defence, and it's really not, is it? He gets a horrible time on Twitter and Facebook as well. Yeah.
I'm not on Facebook, so I don't see what goes on. All I see is what goes on Twitter, when it can get nasty when Celtic can't win. If you think
Twitter's bad, times it by 10, and you get Facebook. Facebook's just get two sides of the extreme. You've got the ones that can never admit when Lennon does anything wrong. But you've got folk like Tommy Sheridan, folk at share Tommy Sheridan. But that's it's just mental, because every game that we play poor, it's always like, keep the faith. We'll play better next week. God bless Neil Lennon. And you're a bit like, let folk be angry.
Yeah.
But we've let ourselves.
But it gets to a stage as well. It gets to a stage where you think, like, how much longer can we keep, like, underachieving? Like, no matter what happens, I think at the end of the season he'll be gone. Win the league, or if you don't win the league, he'll be gone, and a new era will begin. Because I think maybe only about 4 or 5 of the players that are in the first team now will be here next season. I can see Ayer gone, Christie gone, Cham, Edward. I can see Elianusi, he'll be gone. I can see all these players gone, and like a new man will have to come in and basically rebuild it again.
And that's it. And that's a bit of a worry in itself. But I think that's something Neil Lennon's tried to preempt. I think he understands that this season a lot of people will be leaving, so he's starting to bring in like a kind of host of people to get them bedded in the now, because we're sitting with 4 strikers, which for Celtic unheard of. But it was like last season we were playing Lewis Morgan up front because we only had 2. And he's went out and he's bought Patrick Kramala, who I think is going to be a player, and then Albion Ayeti as well. And that's tied in with like Lee Griffiths, because Lee Griffiths isn't going to go anywhere. He's going to be buried under Celtic. The Celtic Daz will make sure of that one.
Well, I've always been someone to criticise him at times where he came back overweight, and I thought, like, how many chances does he need? But then he does what he done yesterday, and I'm thinking he scored in the last minute against St Johnstone to win us the game, and then he got it back to 2-2 yesterday with a finish that is absolutely amazing. And I'm thinking, he needs to stay.
That's the most frustrating part about him. You see what he can do when he's fit and firing. I know he's had his issues off the park, and like you can't blame him for that. Like when his head wasn't there, like that's personal. But when he was at parties during lockdown and fucking comes back about 2 stone overweight, not been doing the routines that he's been saying, it pisses you off a wee bit.
That's not acceptable. Yeah,
no, it's that way as well. Rodgers wouldn't have tolerated that.
I said that after the Ferenc. I can't even pronounce it. Ferenc Varos or something. I said it. The level of professionalism dropped massively since Rodgers left.
Aye, because it was that way when Rodgers was there. We won the getting stuff like that. Like players wouldn't have dared to come back overweight because they know they'd have been out the door, and it was the same with O'Neill as well. But O'Neill would have punted you at the door. I'm unsure about Strachan actually, because somehow my mind blocks Strachan out. I don't know why, but they wouldn't have get away with O'Neill or Rodgers. It's that way. Like, why are we tolerating it under Lennon?
See, I think Lennon's too soft because Lennon left Celtic because I think, wasn't it, Ronnie Doyle was getting brought in as the new assistant or something, and he was like, "No, I'm out of here. I can't get full control of the club." And like, them coaches he has now are not his coaches. I mean, Damien Duff was there at the club already, and Kennedy. I know we knew Kennedy from the academy and obviously played with him, but like, he's not his coach. Like, he's just been thrown. He's too soft, I think, to speak up and say, "I want my own coaches here now." He's not given full control of the club like Rodgers was, or O'Neill.
Aye, because Rodgers, he brought his whole kind of staff in. I think the only one he inherited was John Kennedy, actually.
Yeah, I think it was. And I think it was the goalkeeping coach as well, Woods.
Aye, Stevie Woods.
Yeah.
He's a saint, but he comes as part of the job. You get Stevie Woods.
I like Stevie Woods. We get decent keepers with him. We just need to work on Barkas. He's fucking saving, and we'll be alright. Aye,
because it's that way as well. Like, we spent a lot of money on Barkas, so they've obviously seen something in him. He's been in and out the Greek side recently, but he was the Greek number one.
Yeah.
There's obviously some form of talent there, and it's the same with Shane Duffy. Like, Shane Duffy's getting labelled Effie Ambrose right now, and you're a bit like if you folk got Chris Commons, and you're like, did you never watch him before he came to Celtic? Like, where were these criticisms before we signed him? Like, when he was playing, he was captain in Ireland, or he was down at Brighton. Like, everybody was buzzing for him to come, and then he comes and has a couple of rocky games, and now he's Effie Ambrose.
See, I've been watching Shane Duffy for years, and I said it. He's a kick the ball, head the ball type defender. He's not give him the ball, play it out through the back, pass it. He can't do that. Heads it clear, kicks it clear. That's all he does. He's an old school centre half, and the way Celtic play, it doesn't suit him at all.
Even at that, it seems that recently his head's not there because he seems to be lacking the basics. But it was was it the second goal against Aberdeen? He should have just booted it into the Clyde, but he just tries to fanny about with the ball too much.
I think he would have done that before, but obviously he's been told now, let's not do that. Let's try keep the ball, play it out from the back, and he gets caught out too many times now, doesn't it?
That could be it. Actually, that's a good point. Because obviously you'll know him a lot better than us because you've obviously seen him for your country many a times.
Yeah, and the way Ireland play, it's not exciting at all. It's 0-0. I think we scored 1 goal in the last 5 or 6 games. So it's just hitting hope pretty much, and that's all he does at Ireland.
You're lacking
that's why Brighton let him go.
You're lacking that Lenny ball. We'll give him. You can have him.
Swat him with Stephen Kennedy, or what's it, Stephen Kenny.
Oh, actually, I forgot that was your manager. You can just have him. You can have Beth. We'll just say Martin O'Neill. So do you think Lennon should go?
I think this is a big week. If you ask me this next Sunday, I'll give you an answer.
right?
Because I don't want to shout Lenny. I'm not shouting from the rooftops I want him to stay, but I'm not also going all over social media telling them to get out, get out, get out. Because I said on Saturday it could almost be a bigger risk getting them out than keeping them. Look, his style of football is terrible. I'll admit that it's awful. By this time next year he can't be the manager. But what I have to say is, like, he has won us titles, so he knows how to win titles. Which, if you brought in someone like Eddie Howe, I'm a fan of Eddie Howe, and I think he should come in maybe in July. But for now, I think we just need to hope that things change. But then again, that's what I'm saying. After this week, if things don't change, then I think the board needs to take action. And even if he resigns, because if you were Neil Lennon, right, and he didn't win the league at Celtic this year, he could almost never go back to Celtic again. But if you were to stay, or sorry, if he was to resign and walk out and someone else came in and won the league, then you'd say, look, fair play to him. Fair play to him walking out. He knew what the right thing was to do. He's won us, what, 5 of the 6 or 6 titles out of the 10. So,
because that's that. Eddie Howe seems to be the kind of poster boy of who we want as the next manager, but it's no doing it for me. I don't see him as like a serial winner who's going to come in and revolutionise everything straight away. I feel like that's an appointment that might take a bit of time, and I don't think that's a luxury that we have. So I think that's where somebody like Martin O'Neill would come in. Somebody that kind of knows the club, he knows what it's about, and he would get the players playing for him because he would command that respect. Whereas I don't think Eddie Howe would.
Yeah, that's why I said I want them in July. I think him coming in now, like, you're throwing him into the unknown. Like, well, if you threw him in next season, gave him time to rebuild the squad, even Celtic lost the league next year, but we win it this year. I don't think the majority of people really care. Like, obviously, you want Celtic to win the league, but like, if Celtic do 10 in a row and Rangers go and win 1 title, I don't think people are going to give a shite really too much.
No, I don't think it would be the same reaction as it would be this season. I think 10 in a row is just that once in a lifetime opportunity, and if you blow it, you feel like it will never happen again. And I think that's the worry for a lot of people, and that's how. Because a lot of people, they're emotionally invested in it now. Because it's like 9 years of your life. You've been singing "Here We Go" 10 in a row, and you get excited.
It comes down to these last few months now.
Aye, like the last 9 years, it's led up to this season, and you feel like you're getting let down because it's not the fact we get beat off Rangers. It's not the fact we drew against Aberdeen. It's the level of performance. Like, it seems like they don't.
The way we played.
Like, to go into a Celtic Rangers game and like not have a shot on target, you're like, what? And the 10 in a row season, you're a bit like, what the fuck? What is happening? And
the players just don't look like they know what they're doing. Like, it's like they're out of what it is.
I think that like the chopping and changing a formation every week isn't helping, and like the playing players out of position isn't helping, because you've seen it at the weekend. Like, they're trying to play Ryan Christie as like a right mid, but his natural instincts is just to drift in. So then and Elianussi's doing the same for the left, so the middle becomes so congested with bodies. And like Frimpong, who's supposed to be one of our best attackers, he's not taking on Johnny Hayes. And you're like, what are you doing?
He's looked off at the last few games, yeah.
Aye, and I think it's that way. I think he would have benefited. He would have definitely benefited in the Rangers game, because whenever he was going on about the 3-5-2, my query was, I don't think it would work against Rangers. I think they've got too much going down the sides. It would just pin our full-backs back too much, and they wouldn't be able to get forward.
Yeah.
Which is what happened. Like, it was just like, what's his name, Kamara, he just came over and just blocked Frimpong at every chance, and there was no one in front of him. Whereas if the likes of like James Forrest was fit, I know a lot of Celtic fans will have their fingers in their ears right now, but he would have made a difference.
Yeah, honestly, I think Celtic have missed him, and I know, like, I'm one of the people who give him probably most criticism, but in the games he doesn't play, it shows, doesn't it?
Aye, and it's the volume and the consistency of the volume that he provides Celtic. But he's always good for about 19 goals and assists, but combined a season, and those kind of numbers you miss. It's the same as it's the same as Scott Sinclair. Like, Scott Sinclair was here 3 years and was scoring 18 goals a season or 3 seasons, and he's not really been replaced.
I don't think any of that really invincible team has been replaced at all. Maybe you could say Dembele's been replaced with Edouard, but like Tierney hasn't been replaced, Sinclair hasn't been replaced, Boyata, he hasn't been replaced, Armstrong, we'll see what happens with Turnbull, but he hasn't been replaced either.
No, you're right there. And I think it's that way as well. I think we've really missed Chris Julian. But see the games that it was like, we've missed Julian and we've missed Beaton, because I'm not a big fan of Beaton, but he's quite a cool guy at the back.
Keeps the calm, yeah.
Like he doesn't panic. Whereas the last few weeks I've seen us panicking a lot. I felt bad for the boy Welsh because he just get chucked to the wolves.
I thought I just harsh giving him criticism. Like he's only young, and like I know he played a game against Hamilton, but he was thrown in against Rangers.
Aye.
And thrown in against AC Milan. Thrown right into the deep end. So to give him criticism, I think is unfair. I think obviously as a footballer, you can't just wrap him in cotton wool and give him praise every week. Obviously you have to throw him in a bit of criticism here and there. But if you compare him with the way Duffy's been playing, even you'd take Welsh, wouldn't you?
Absolutely, and I think it's that way. As a young boy, he's only got a handful of senior appearances. He's got 2 guys beside him that both play at international level. So when he's coming out too much and kind of ball chasing, it's up to them to talk to him. It's up to them to pull him back. That's why you've experienced players. That's what Duffy, like the likes of Duffy, should be doing, and Ayer as well. Ayer plays for Norway, so he plays like essentially the highest international level, and he has done for the last 3 years. So he's got a bit about him. Duffy's the captain on the international side, and he's not checking him. He's not. It's that way as well. Like, they don't talk to each other at the back.
No.
And they're just pulled out of their shape all the time, and someone's away chasing a lost ball, and then it just causes a big hole.
Definitely, man. Like, he does. Maybe it's a trait at the back that doesn't suit him. But we went straight to back last season after Christmas, and we blew everyone away. So I don't know what the difference is.
So I think it was that way as well. Because I was checking this last night, but the game, before Rangers, before the international break, we were on 4 games in a row, without conceding any goals, 4 or 5, and then we lost Beaton, El Hamed, and Julian. He was injured just before that, but we'd lost 2 experienced centre halves. So it's that way. It's all well and good to throw the blame at Lennon, and he does need to take responsibility to a degree, but he's not been helped with COVID.
No, definitely not. All the players getting pulled out of teams. Like, there's a lot of players injured at the moment, and or not injured and out through COVID. There's a lot of players.
You noticed it in the first half as well. When we were missing Edouard, he's been missing, and it's games when we're not playing great, where he can make something happen. He can take the ball, maybe go by somebody and hammer it in, and we don't have that when he's not there.
100%. Like, it's like last year in the cup final, we started with Morgan up front, Edouard's on the bench. Nothing's happening. They're all over us. Edouard comes on within 2 minutes, wins the free kick. Celtic score from the free kick. It just shows that he is our most important player, 100%.
Oh, without a doubt. And then you're missing Chris Julian as well. So there's games we're not playing well. We got a set piece. It comes in the box and he attacks it and scores.
Yeah.
Because he done that in the Lazio game. He done it against Rangers as well. But them 2 are a huge miss for us, and they're a huge miss for Lennon. And I think when the international break comes about in November, I can see a lot of people having a decaf.
Big time.
Lennon will be going about kicking after. You're back. You're no fucking gone.
You should do that. Pull them out of the squad. Don't let them go.
It would get my respect.
Oh, me too.
Look, we can move away from Celtic and Lennon now, because we're going to end up just bumming each other out. And we're just going to be sitting all sad, waiting for Will.
You You should have done this interview this time last year. We'd be on some buzz now. Just be after beating Lazio 4-0 against Aberdeen. Like, you know, life is great. No COVID. We're all loving our life. And now we're stuck here. Shy football, no fans.
I think that's it as well. See, a lot of the opinions you're seeing on Twitter, I think they're affected by people that aren't at the games. Because see, when you're at the games, you've at least get that bit of buzz about you, so you don't really care. You don't really care as much.
You have something to look forward to, like.
Aye, whereas when you're not at the games, it seems like you notice a lot more, and you notice it like because if most folk were there in Sunday, I know it was an away game, but Lennon's kind of demeanour has been picked up on a lot. If you're at the game, you don't notice stuff like that. Like, do you know what I mean? You're too busy going nuts yourself. Like, stuff like that doesn't pan into your brain.
Because it was with that, I was like, he doesn't help himself just sitting on the bench, just with no emotion. But I was like, he done that last season. Like, we scored against Lazio and he jumped off the bench. Like, you know what I mean? He's been doing it for God knows how long. It's only now that people pick up on Lennon just sitting there with no emotion in his face, and they're like, what's going on?
Did you see the story about that? I think I sent it to you earlier. Jeremy Westin, the young boy from Man City.
I read about that last night, yeah.
So, as somebody that plays football yourself, do you think that there is enough support for young people in sport, like, for if they don't make it at the highest level?
Like, I've never played football to a high level like that, where it's almost like you think, you know, you might become a footballer, and if you do get released, it's almost, I think, like, now what do I do? Because, you know, you could be signed up from 7, 8 years old and you're 18, 19, and then you're told, look, we don't want to keep you anymore, and you're just thrown out. And from what you grew up thinking you're going to be a footballer, now you're thinking, right, I don't know how the education works. Do they still get their education? I don't know about that. I don't know if they do or not. But I do think something needs to come into like that. There's too many footballers not making it, and almost like, now what do I do?
It's as if a lot of young lads, they become reliant on being a footballer. They're told their whole life, when you get signed up at age 10, say for one of the biggest clubs in the world, it's easy to believe that you're going to be a multi-millionaire, and it's easy to kind of flunk out in school to a degree and not care, because when your teacher's sitting talking about maths or talking about English, like, do you really care how much degrees a triangle has? You're too busy thinking about what your Ferrari's going to look like in 5 years. And it's easy for like young folk to kind of get caught up in that.
One of my mates was playing for a team over here in Ireland, and I think they signed him up when he was like 13, 14. And this is a club, Shamrock Rovers, like they're one of the biggest clubs over here, if not the biggest. And they signed for 500 kids, and they have them all in their systems grown up, and they give them tracksuits, they get them everything. So it is a good club to be at as a kid. Like, I'm not saying it's not, but like, they just released him over an email one night. Like, they didn't even say it to him or call him into an office and say, look, we're going to let you go. Literally over an email, they said, don't come back for next season. Like,
see, that'd be heartbreaking. Like, it's so impersonal. Like,
yeah.
Like, this is essentially a young person's life. Like, football's their passion, it's their love. Like, to get binned for your love via email, it'd break your heart.
It is awful. So I think Frank Lampard commented on it last year, I think it was. Can't remember what happened. Someone was released, and then Lampard was talking about something needs to be done for young footballers, that when they come out of school, or if they don't make it as a pro, they can go into something else, like, straight away.
See, that's what I was thinking about that there, what Frank Lampard was saying, but I couldn't remember if I'd made that up or not. I think he was talking about it in an interview on telly. I don't know if it was A League of Their Own or something he was on, maybe. He was definitely on.
It might have been a press conference last year. I can't remember. It might have been with Billy Gilmore. I could be wrong. All I remember hearing Frank Lampard talking to him. That's what came to mind when you said the question. But I could be wrong.
The way things have went tonight, you're probably right. I had Craig Burley winning the league.
Oh, we're winning the league. Don't worry.
Oh fuck. So what's your beef with McGregor? Like Conor McGregor, because you are both in the same area, and I see you turn into him on Twitter at any opportunity you can get.
It is only a bit of a wind up. Like, I don't have a big problem with Conor McGregor. It's just I don't like when he fights. I do always hope 99% of the time the other fella wins. Like, I've no interest in UFC. But when McGregor fights, I get up for the fight. I just hope he loses. He's too arrogant.
I'll give you that.
And I guess that's boxing, that's UFC, whatever fighting. Like, everyone they're all arrogant. They just play the game. But like some of the stuff McGregor's done, like personally, I have no respect for him at all.
But he's probably my favourite fighter in the UFC.
Don't get me wrong, he's funny. He's a funny fella.
I get what you mean. Because see like the stuff he was saying to Khabib, it kind of went beyond trash talk. He get very, very personal with him. Like the stuff he was saying about his dad and his wife, you were kind of like, oh, it's...
He was slagging him for not drinking, but he's a Muslim, isn't he?
Aye, and he was slagging his wife as well, because his wife I think it's a hijab. She wears. I might be wrong. It's like a veil, so it goes like right over her face, because what they believe over there is you're not really allowed to see the woman's face. It's a
rule, like it's a law. It's a religion, like.
I think it all borders down to respect with them. I think they see it as disrespectful if you see another man's wife, which is it's their culture. It's how they live. I'm in no position to tell him do what he fucking do. But he slagged that the way he did. Like, put a picture of a goat with a veil on. It was just...
There's a line to it. And I know there's a fair line in UFC, but like there's still a line at the end of the day, isn't it?
And he definitely crossed that line in the UFC. They fed into it as well, because like the stuff when he went and he smashed up the bus, they were using that in the promos. And, it was only ever going to lead one way, and that was Khabib fucking jumping like falcon jumping out of the cage.
All I'll say is, if some of the stuff he done outside the UFC, personal stuff he done, if it was me or you, we'd be behind bars right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But if it was one of us that went and smashed the UFC's bus up, we would definitely be in the jail.
100%, man.
So, do you never think about going to SBG and training with him?
Well, maybe if you fight each other.
Aye.
I go to the press conference. Me and Conor McGregor against each other.
So,
he's winning that one though. So I'm not getting involved in him.
Conor McGregor, if you're an avid listener to the podcast, which you might be, charity boxing match with you and Adam Lynch is on the cards.
You never know.
All the Tim can referee.
Paul Tim can walk me to the ring with a tricolour on.
Aye, like Michael Conlon style.
Yeah.
The Celtic team playing. But if it's all right with you, we'll just wrap it up here.
Yeah, no worries.